Hey, what's up? It's Wes here, aka Seahawks Prime. Welcome back to the Seahawks Times, where we get into the nitty-gritty details of our beloved Seattle Seahawks, the team that I support and love with so much passion. Let's get the elephant out of the room. Geno Smith wins the starting job, to many fans' dismay, to some fans' comfort. I want you to let me know what you think in the comments, and I'm going to give you my candid, uncanny point of view on this right now. Okay, Geno Smith, so much respect. I'm going to give you your flowers. You were dedicated to Seattle. You stood behind Russ. You didn't jump teams. You stayed in your lane. You learned the offense, and you took command when you had the opportunities. Okay, Drew Lock, if Drew wanted to win this battle, not only against Dallas would he had to have done exceptionally well, he would have had to carry that into the coming practices. But Drew, 3 interceptions on tape is not going to look good. It's not going to look good for Pete to start Drew over Geno with that stat line. But if you watch the games, and I encourage you as fans to watch games, because if you just read stats, you're not really going to know the whole story. So one of those Drew Lock interceptions was very egregious. You know, it was a stupid throw by Drew, and he looked a little bit shaky and jumpy. If you check the top billing tape by Murph there, Top Billing is the channel, he shows how Drew kind of misread some stuff, but it doesn't tell the whole story of the game. There was many beautiful throws that I don't think Geno could ever make. And if we have DK and Tyler and Fant out there, does Drew Lock really have a 3 interception game, or does Seattle win this game by 14 points? Because Drew can really sling dots. You know what I mean? And he's got to clean some stuff up, but he can throw to win games. Geno Smith has not had a TD throw since, I think, week 3 of camp, you know, and that's not a knock on Geno's ball control because he's not turning the ball over. But can we beat the KC Chiefs? Can we beat the Rams? Can we beat the Chargers with a 1 TD, 150 yards throwing, and 4 penny TDs or a Walker TD? I don't know about that. So I still think the upside is with Lock, as crazy as that sounds. But I'm going to give Geno his flowers because Geno Smith is a dedicated and loyal guy. And yes, he's earned it because he just has done what coaches ask him to. And Pete wants to keep ball control and stuff like that. And that's going to be okay in a sense. But time of possession, I don't think is just going to be the whole story of what wins you games. In the modern run and gun NFL, where you got to put points up. In the preseason, Drew Lock has 34 points on his limited drives. Geno Smith's been playing a lot. He's got 14 points and, you know, barely any, no TDs. And that really troubles me, guys. It really does. Is Geno Smith going to be able to burn any of these teams when we're down? Because, you know, we're so used to Russell being able to make comebacks. Well, not recently, really, but just in general with crazy magical throws. Geno just definitely doesn't have those throws. So we're just going to have to emphasize the run. And that's kind of been clear with Carroll's decision. Okay, Drew did not seize the reins here. Do I think that Drew Lock has a chance to start any games this season? I do. I think that Geno Smith will be on a very short rope, like a 1/2 kind of rope. You know, Pete Carroll's energy when he was announcing Geno Smith was not completely positive. He looked like he kind of wanted Drew to take the reins there, and it didn't happen, and he looked disappointed. I'm going to ask you to watch that conference and really think about that. He's proud of Geno. We all are, but he's a bit disappointed. And I think Drew's also disappointed as well, obviously. But when we really look at this, are they going to let Geno Smith have like a 2 interception half, or are we going to start, 0-2? And if Geno wants to keep this job, of course he's going to have to win. But even in the losses, he's going to have to play very well. Or mark my words, they will throw Drew Lock in there in a minute, because it doesn't make much difference if you're, keeping the ball and not scoring, or scoring 3 times and only turning the ball over once, etc. You know, you really got to quantify how that's going to work. And I believe with the number 1 offense, if Drew had a chance to show what he could do with that, we might be having a different discussion now, but that's okay. I do respect this decision and the fact that these guys are professionals. They know so much more than me about the game, but, it's going to put Carroll in the hot seat if Geno comes out looking really bad, and that's just a compromising position for them. It leads me to believe as well that, my last video about the top 5 quarterback prospects in the draft next year, Seattle probably has their eye heavily on 1 or 2 people. They made no investment. They were never going to bring in Baker Mayfield. They were never going to bring Jimmy Garoppolo. They were never going to bring in any of those guys because they don't feel that those guys are worth paying to take a leap over who they have on their roster right now. I'm not dooming gloom about Seattle, guys, because the roster and the young players, specifically the O-line, just look amazing right now. You know what I mean? Curran and Lucas and Cross are just, they're looking astonishing. You know what I mean? And I'm really saying that from a non-biased perspective. And that's going to be so huge for this team, whoever's quarterbacking it and whoever we bring in the future. So Drew Lock, I do not believe is finished, because I do think we see him at some point in time this year. He's going to have to play really, really good when he gets the shot, because he's on thin ice now, knowing that he has this reputation of being just a turnover machine. But me watching his tape last year and even last night's game, it's so frustrating. The ball just coming off people's hands. Sure, he looked down D. Eskridge there, but D's supposed to come back and do something there. This is a kid that needs a shot, and I hope we give him a shot in a regular season game. I do believe he will work his way to be able to get that opportunity at some point in time. But, I'm a Seahawks fan, and if Geno comes out the gate and is gunning and killing it and winning us games, I'm not going to be upset. I do not care about being wrong. I just want my team to win, and that's what you're going to get on this channel. So, Geno, if you're going to come out there and do your thing, brother, please do, man. I hope you sling it. Congratulations on winning the starting job. Drew Lock, you got to keep your head up, brother, because if your name is called and I think that they see something and a sparkle in your game, you got to come out there and do your thing and just be ready. And, yeah, that's what it is. On the next video, I'm going to profile what happened in this game outside of the quarterback situation and who won, because there was some awesome stuff to take away from this game. And there's some key players that did a lot of things and won jobs on this team that are just basically no-name players. So in conclusion, congratulations, Geno Smith, to your family and your whole camp. You've worked your whole career for this, and I respect that. But I'm still team let Drew brew. Let Drew brew. And I ask you, would Geno Smith be able to throw that ball that perfectly to Penny Hart in that situation? I will take a 34 points on the scoreboard with a couple picks over 20 points and trying to beat the Chargers and hold them to under 20 points. If you know what I mean, that is the fact of the matter. But I love y'all. Go Hawks.